Hey there, hey, it's Michelle with Brilliant Quest. And today I want to talk to you about something that is better than a high credit score. Oh yeah. So in today's world, it's all about money, capitalism, and credit. But there's something that the truly tuned in understand that if you have this, you don't need a credit score. And that is power. Yes. Now don't turn me off because I'm going to talk to you about a little nuance of power that anybody can get, whether you are rich or poor or in between. So let's get into it. There are two types of power, and I've done a primer of power and understanding the different power types, and I'll put it right there. Yeah. And so with power, I have talked about 7 types of power that we have come to understand in the post-industrial age of interpersonal skills, whether working in a company or whether just existing. And the 2 highest types of these powers are going to be connection power and referent power. And these are the ones that you find a lot of people, well, actually, people try to go for the top one, which is the referent one. It has the most power. This is the star. This is the celebrity, the celestial being. And I am not talking about most people that we call stars and celebrities. Most of those folks, they're just people for our entertainment that we gawk at. No, I'm talking about the rarefied space of the real star. And if you have referent power, you don't need money. But let me hip you to the way that you can get there. And it starts with the second highest power. Now let me back up. The different types of power, the 7 are going to be legitimate. Then you have coercive. Legitimate power is like if somebody has a title and they can, they have a little status over you. Coercive power is that power where you got a little bit of a title, but it's going to your head and you're ruling by force, threat, or bullying or punishment. So you don't want that one. The next one after that one is going to be expert power. This is the power of our experts, people who we revere for their skills or their knowledge. Okay. The next one after that is going to be informational power. This is the power that people know a little something and that is temporary. They have a little power because they know something, but it doesn't build credibility and it doesn't build influence. So it's very, like I said, temporary. The next one after that is going to be reward power. This is going to be power of people who have more resources or access to stuff that reward you for things, for doing something. It's very transactional. It's like, I like you, so I'm gonna put you on, it's kind of like that power. But then after those, you got those last 2, which are the highest forms. You got connection power and referent power. And connection power is basically like a godfather. It's the networker. It's the influencer. And that's why that's why everybody is trying to, not everyone, let me stop being categorical with this. That's why there is a drive and a focus for a lot of people to become influencers, because whether they've made that connection or not, when you have powerful influence, you have access. You might not own it, but you have access to things and opportunities that you wouldn't without it. So unlike the plebeians, the public who only get access if they got a high credit score, because that's the way society has said we're going to judge your power is by, these hoops that you jump through with how you handle the little bit money or the money that you have. You can circumvent needing a high credit score by having a high connection power. And so, like I said before, this is how you do it. So let's talk about connection power. So connection power is all about networking. It's about the gains you get through favor of who you're connected to. It comes by who you know, who they know, 6 degrees of separation. It is all about how you can use your influence. What favor can you curry from whom? How is it that you can have a rapper? Okay, I'll give at this particular time, this person is known in the world. Cardi B, Balcalise, I think it's her real name. And Balcalise says by her own admission that she started as a stripper, then she moved into a rapper, and now she is an influencer. And you can tell because she dabbles in political stuff. So the political people come and favor curry with her because of her influence and outreach and the favor that she gets. She's become a fashion icon where she sits in the front row at fashion places and all of these types of things. Now, you might say, well, that's not connection. Yes, it is. Because by her presence at these places and by her knowing who it is she knows, she's able to bridge the gap between people who would have never listened to the politician or who would have never been able to know the designer or even have a desire to patronize them. And the thing that she doesn't do is she doesn't knowingly try to do this as something where it's transactional. She doesn't ask you to pay her for access to her contacts. Now connectors can do that. And that's where you get your middlemen and your brokers and stuff. But the true connector understands that they can get more by their influence where people are willing to give to them. One of the big keywords I want you to hold on to because I'm going to ask you to start building your connection power. One of the big keywords I want you to hold and start building is attract instead of earn. Connectors attract favor to them. They attract the things they need to them because they do first without necessarily requiring you to pay them. Networking in a connection standpoint is you doing it out of the abundance of your ability to influence, your ability to connect. It would be totally different if she said, okay, I'm having this and I'm going to put you on with my top 3 vendors for this, and you're just going to have to pay for entrance. That's not connection. That is transactional. Connection is relational. So connection is not about you paying for a service and you pay and you get something. Connection is about, I know this person, I know you, I think y'all would be great. Let's put it together. Now, I will say this about connection. When you become known as a powerful connector, in order to stay in your good graces and have favor with you, people will naturally start to say, hey, this deal wouldn't have happened to you, happened without you. So we're gonna give you a referral bonus, or we're gonna give you a first fruits offering if you're in, to the spiritual, side of things. And you get to the point where if you're a true connector, you're not gonna have to ask for money, because the real ones who understand this connection power, they're gonna be like, I need to keep access to this person. I need to stay in good graces with them. When I give to them, I get more. They're not going to begrudgingly give anything, because connectors, now listen to this part, connectors are what a good credit score wants to be. Connectors are people of high worth and value. Everyone today wants to talk about what is a high value person? A connector. Because the connector does things not for the sake of trying to see what they can get out of it. That's just a networker who's on their hustle. That's just a broker. A connector is above, so much so that they will get the nicknames with the word God in it, like the godfather of this or the godmother of that, because they put so many people on and they never ask for, or a lot of times they never expect you to give back to them. But when you give back to them, you get blessed and they get blessed. And so I've mentioned Clarence Avant in my video talking about power, and it bears witnessing here on Netflix. There's a documentary about him. Black godfather of entertainment, Hollywood, or something like that. And in there, he talks about a time when he and his wife were suffering and they were about to lose their home. And some kind of way, his powerful friends, remember networkers, how the connectors have influence because of who they know, what they can have access to. They found out about it. He didn't have to say a word. They took care of it and said, it's done. We never speak of this again. This is not a loan. You're not indebted to us, because they understood connection power. They understood that of the 7 different types of power, they are right under the top one. And this is the quickest pathway you get to the top one. Okay. And so with connectors, it takes a certain kind of ilk. It takes a certain kind of person, because the connector, and this is why I encourage you to become one. The connector has a seed of altruism in them. They're doing it for the greater good of all. They're not ego driven to satisfy their needs first. You have powerful connectors who are homeless. You've got powerful connectors who live in squalor and poverty. You've got powerful connectors that are elder statesmen all over the place. And another thing about the connectors, for as much as they do forward facing where you can see it, they're doing way more behind the scenes that you'll never know about. They're the reason why the engine is continuously oiled. They are the reason why things continuously happen. And the good thing about connectors, the more of them you have, the better things get. You can't say that for a lot of the other powers. Besides Reverend, a lot of the other powers, they really need to be controlled so that we don't get too many of them, because they upset the balance. They upset the apple cart. But with connectors, the more true connectors you get, and it's a skill that can be learned, the more connectors you get, the better things get for the masses. You see, the connectors, they are poison to ultra capitalism. Now, they're not poison to just capitalism, because capitalism does make the world go around, because everybody not gonna do something for nothing. But that ultra, where it makes every relationship you have must be transactional, they put a kibosh on that. They stop that, because they'll do something for you, and a lot of connectors will do it for you, don't even tell you they're doing it. And it's not only on the material front. There are a lot of powerful connectors who do what we would call spiritual work. There are connectors who will make it their mission to help manifest things for people in need or who are lacking. And they'll never tell you. And when I say they'll manifest things, yeah, they'll meditate for you. They may even pray for you. But what they'll also do is they will let people who are looking for the opportunity to bless someone, they'll let people know. Do you know there are powerful connectors out here who compile lists and vet entities, people, associations, nonprofits, whatever it is. They vet you. You don't even know what's going on. And then on your behalf, they're submitting you for consideration to untapped monies of people that are looking to give money away, whether it be for tax purposes. I'm not talking about them people that's looking, but the connectors, there are people who find delight in being a secret Santa for other people and beings. And we need more connectors. Now, the connector's life is really hard. And that's why it's the second biggest type of power, because a connector kind of has to walk by faith. And when I say walk by faith, they can't look at you for their money. They understand that they must first give, and then they have to trust the all, not just the one, that their needs are met. That is another reason why everybody is not a connector, but we need more of them, because there are people that it's just hardwired, transactional. If I do this, I better get that, or I'm not doing this. Every time a connector takes a chance, they not only take a chance of never getting anything back for it. First of all, they don't care, but they take the bigger chance of, by helping you, they might be harming themselves. What happens when connectors connect people and it don't go right? Both sides are pointing to them. It's your fault. You know? There are different types of connectors, even when it comes to relationships. You have people that are just naturally good connectors of matchmaking. Think about that. When's the last time you heard of someone who was really good at seeing that this person that they had interaction with would probably hit it off with that person, and then they facilitated the meeting, not any kind of pressure, and then it worked. Well, for every time it worked, there could be a time where it did not work. And then both sides are, well, if it hadn't been for you, I would have never met this person, whatever. So connectors also fall into that category of no good deed goes unpunished. That's why I said it's not easy, because if it were easy, everybody would be a connector and everybody would have power. But as you can tell, it's few connectors. I want you to take a moment, and I want you, now you put me on pause. No, don't put me on pause. Just do it after. But I want you to take a moment, and I want you to do an inventory of your natural abilities that would make you able to use that to become a connector. For some people, you're going to have to look at, how does your ego work? Because I'm going to tell you, your ego is going to be one of the top factors that's going to help or hinder your ability to gain this kind of power. The next one is going to be your gate. Now, your gate is this: it's your mouth. Can you hold confidences? Do you talk too much? Do you TMI? Do you have a loose understanding of what's confidential and what's not? Connectors are also good that way. They understand inherently how to hold a confidence. Connectors are so good at connecting, because half of the time you will never know who all they know. You'll never know that, oh, you've been trying to start a food truck. And you'll never know you're talking to a connector, and they're, really interested, because that's another thing. They're magnificence hunters. They find the magnificence in you because they're usually trying to figure out your resource with this resource, because they know it's a win-win for everybody. You might be talking to a connector. You tell them, I really want a food truck. And, I've started, renting out a little space here on the weekends where I make cakes, or I do lunches, and I really love it, but I want a food truck, And this connector might know a local commercial truck dealership where they could be like, there's this person. Do you have any trucks that you need to get off the books that you could donate, that you can write off? And next thing you know, you talk to this connector and just told them your dreams. And then this other person is reaching out to you. Oh, and the connector said, keep my name out of it. And the other person is like, we noticed that you're doing well, blah, 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 blah. And all of that. That means the connector did not need to satisfy their ego by getting credit. The next one, like I said, about the confidentiality. Keep my name out of it. Don't let them tell them your business, because they're not going to tell all your business. They're going to tell enough to, connect. So they know how to keep a confidence. They know how to keep secrets, good secrets. They know how to keep the secrets that are healthy, not the ones that are unhealthy. Another thing about powerful connectors. Okay, so we got the ego, we got the mouth, the gate, confidence. They have excellent self-discipline. Connectors are, and not just self-discipline, self-awareness. Connectors are not just trying to put resources together. They understand timing. They understand when they should act and when they shouldn't. They are not judgy. They're not judgy at all, but they do have discernment because of their excellent self-awareness. They can discern when they need to act on something or when they need to let it simmer in the back, because connectors uncannily have this understanding of yes, no, maybe, and not yet. And they know when to let something simmer and that it's not ready yet, because they might know somebody, but that's not the person for them right now to, go into. And they might know when, the timing. Their interpersonal skills. Oh my gosh. Connectors' interpersonal skills are up there in the stars with the Reverend. And that's how they become great connectors. They get more excited about what you've got going on than they would for themselves. And it's authentic. You can tell they are so excited, and even sometimes you can tell a connector, because when you're talking to them, I have a person I'm gonna connect you with. Oh, I know this person that y'all will get along with. That's a sign of a real connector. And then this one, connectors are not lustful. Connectors don't lust for, and they don't have this longing for advancement. They get their joy from seeing things happen for others. And by really, truly doing that, they rise. Connectors are patient. They are not connecting so that they can get paid. They are connecting because this is going to help the world get paid. I tell you, they are rare, but we can learn from them, and we can start to do that. And this whole running around trying to do things to have a great credit score so that you can have more access to things in your life, there's another way. And it's through being a connector and being referent. So let's talk about the referent. Now, like I said, these are the stars, honey. These are what most celebrities down here want to be. They are the celestial beings that we look at. I've already told you what a connector is, and it's the shortest path to be referent. But it's not the only path. And the kids nowadays, they have this word. They call it Riz. Do you have Riz? And Riz is charisma. Robert Greene. I love Robert Greene and all his different books and stuff. And Robert Greene in his the 9 types of seduction, it's called The Art of Seduction. He talks about the charismatic being a type of seducer. And the charismatic is that star. The charismatic is the one that draws people to them. It's the Pied Piper without needing the pipe. The charismatic person, when you're around them, you feel like you could do anything. When you are around the charismatic, you hunger for whatever they're doing, because everybody eats off of what the charismatic does. Everybody feels good, you know? Now, the charmer can make you feel good too, but the charismatic is the light bulb, and you get light because they're shining so bright, you know? So being charismatic is not enough to be referent. You also must have integrity. You must have understanding of your personal identity and not waver. And when I say not waver, I'm not saying that you have to be the same person all the time. I am saying that who you are in that moment, don't let external situations, comments, people throw you off of that. And so your sense of identity is very, very solid. Now, I've mentioned 4 different existential issues, and I'm going to be doing a full video on that we deal with in our lifetime. And so one of them is the person who is resistant to life. You sometimes call them thrill seekers, or even people who have a death wish. They are not committed to this life. They have divine homesickness. Like, they here, but they not really here. Then you have the victim. That's the woe is me. That's the entitlement person. That's the person who believes everybody has it better than them. Then you have the self-identity person. And this is the person who is always looking for external validation of tell me who I am. That's where I'm talking about with referent. They don't have that issue. Then you have the worthiness person, and that's the person who's having divine exile. I'm trying to prove to you that I'm good enough to come back home. You know, they're the perfectionists. They're the hypercritical. They're the ones who have the imposter syndrome, self-sabotage, and all of those different ones of that nature, where they are constantly searching for being accepted and being worthy. They're the people pleasers. When you have a referent person, the biggest thing that they don't have a problem with is self-identity. Now, they can have all the other ones in varying degrees, but they don't have the self-identity. They are very sure about themselves. They know who they are. It's like they come here understanding, I'm that one, and that's what I do. And they give themselves permission to become that one in different areas and different phases of their life, but they stay true to it. They stand 10 toes on it. Now, let me tell you a little bit about when you have the referent. You can tell a referent person is because they're trusted and highly respected. The referent have to be careful because they can easily be put on a pedestal, and humans fall off of pedestals. We don't do well on pedestals at all. You see how we do on bridges. We be falling on bridges. A pedestal, you gonna fall. But the referent person has these positive qualities that cause people to just want to follow them. And there's nothing that the referent person needs to do. When I talked about in my previous video of the different types, the first 5 always had some type of, they had to give something to be given this, or not given, because power is not given, to be able to wield these powers. Whether it was the expert being highly skillful, or the informational thinking they have information that they can gatekeep and that would give them power, or the reward person who can give out, bonuses, gifts, raises, money, and that kind of stuff, or even clout, or even the leadership person who will lead you, or the coercive person who threatens you to get what they want. All of those other powers require you to do something. The connection power, it's not required, but there's sometimes a little bit of expectation when you expect for your connections to work. You derive pleasure out of that. But the referent, they can just walk about and have power. It is just part of their makeup. And let me give you an example of some. A lot of referent powered people, history books are written about them. They are known more for who they were outside of what they did. When you think about referent power, you sometimes think about people like Martin Luther King, Buddha, Mother Teresa. Now, of course, they all had their flaws because they're still human. But just as much time is spent looking at the attributes of who they were as to what they did, to the point where they are deified a lot of times when they move on and they become sainted and all this other stuff. And so with the referent, like I said, they are who what we call our usual stars and celebrities wish to be. And as you can tell, they're very rare. And just because someone is called a star or celebrity does not mean that they actually operate in referent power. But when you do, if you are a powerful connector, if you are a star, credit score, what? You don't need it. And so, if nothing else, I am going to encourage you to become a connector. And if you think, based on what you are learning about referent power, that you got the it, I want you to use it responsibly so that you don't dim that power and so that you don't snuff it out too early. I want you to live a reputable life, to live a life where you are trusted. So get your morality in order. Get your consistency of character in order. And you won't have to worry about having a good credit score. All right. So what I want you to do next is I want you to go on up here. I want you to go in and watch this next video because it's going to continue to help you on your brilliant quest, because you are going to be amazed at what power you have over yourself. You don't have to wait. You can start now on your powerful journey. And with that, guess what? Yeah, my time is up. I thank you for yours. This is Michelle, your big sis with Brilliant Quest. I'm going to see you sooner than later. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And thank you so much. Bye.